Hello, 5th and 6th grade. This is your science video for Thursday, December 3rd, and we're going to be talking about my favorite subject in science, which is severe weather. And I enjoy this so much. I've always have when I was a kid. You know that I wanted to be a football player when I was younger, but then as I got into about 7th grade and above, one of the things I wanted to do, or the main thing I wanted to do at the time, is the reason I even went in the Air Force, thinking that I would be able to become this through the Air Force, was to be a meteorologist, and I thought that one of the things would have been the most enjoyable thing to do would have been doing some tornado chasing. My mom and dad got to go. Well, I guess you can't say they got to go through it. They had to go through it because they lived there in Florida, Central Florida. They had in 2004 three hurricanes go over within about a month and a half to 2 months of each other, and so the interesting part is that a storm like a hurricane will last for hours. And in fact, I think the third one that went through, which was called, I think it was Francis, actually lasted a long time. I think they said something to the effect of 36 hours of basically the storm being there because it was moving so slowly. And so they're constantly dealing with the wind, constantly dealing with the things going on there. Electricity was off for a much longer time, they said, during that one, even though it wasn't as severe a hurricane as the other two were. And so that I would enjoy it, I think. Might not enjoy that part of it, but I would enjoy going through something like that. Kind of reminds me of Elijah and him going up in a whirlwind. And now the way the Bible describes it, who knows? That may have been a tornado that God sent. That may have been a tornado with the fire coming out of it, lightning. Who knows? A chariot, though. Not sure you can describe a train as a chariot, but maybe that was the description that was given because that's what they understood, and maybe not. Maybe it was just it actually was a chariot of fire that came down and took Elijah with him. Now, so you're reading. All you're doing in this section is you're reading 136 and 137, and so in your work text page, which is page 89 and 90, you're going to have a not repeated, but you're going to have a map that you're looking at and a study guide on the back side. Now, for this map on page number 137, you can see there's a map there. It's not the exact same map, but it tells you what the different things mean. And so as far as some of the things on there, for instance, the first question says, what do the colors in the map, weather map tell you? And what they tell you is they tell you the different areas where the temperatures are. And so the temperature, I don't know if you want to call it the temperature gradient. You can do that, Gradient. That would be an appropriate word for it, but a gradient where you show the differences in temperatures. But for instance, where the purple is there, that is where the 20s are at the top. That's why you see snow there as well. 30s are the light green, dark green are the 40s. Where Seattle is, where we are, we'd be in the 50s. This is probably not an unusual thing to actually have happen. You have all the way to the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s during this time of the year. So maybe this is late fall, early fall, late fall, mid-fall, who knows. But that is what you have going on in that map. That's what the colors are for. It says, what forms of precipitation? Well, there are three types of precipitation, but what's shown on that one are all three types: showers, rain, and snow. You see the showers are the ones off the East Coast. Then you have the rain, which is up above the low there above Chicago in Canada. And then you have snow, which is up in the upper Midwest. Eastern Montana and North Dakota mostly is where that is. What form of precipitation is occurring along the East Coast? Well, we already said that, so you can fill that in. What type of air pressure system is directly south of the rain? What type of air pressure is directly south? You can see it's identified there with that letter that's in the middle of that circle. What's the basic temperature where snow is falling in the United States? We already actually said that. What West Coast city has the same temperature as New York City? Well, which one is it? You can see the New York City's in the brown, and so you look for the one that's in brown. It says describe the weather occurring in New York City. And so you would describe temperature, and you describe whether it's raining, snowing, showers, or sunny, or whatever it might be. Then it asks you whether the temperatures in Miami and Houston, and it gives you those temperatures or the average or what they are and what the temperatures are in. And why does God want us to warn people about dangerous storms? We're going to read that. So look at 137. It says reading weather maps. In fact, I'm going to skip that part. Oh, actually, I'm not going to skip that part. So it says, meteorologists put some of their data into weather maps. These maps allow us to understand the data more easily. Some weather maps are colored to show differences in temperature. Other maps show differences in air pressure with lines that connect points of equal pressure. Lines with triangle and half circle symbols are used to show fronts. Many weather maps have symbols to indicate different types of precipitation. So go ahead and turn to oh, that was it. Oh, I just read 137. I'm supposed to read 136 first. Well, let's go back to 136 then. Forecasting the weather. God values human life. Understanding and predicting the patterns that weather moves in helps us better protect life and allows us to use our knowledge of the weather in ways that benefit others. Air moving over water collects moisture. Cooler air moves to replace warmer, rising air. Global winds blow and set paths around the earth. These and other predictable conditions provide some of the information needed to forecast the weather. A weather forecast is a prediction of future weather conditions. Making predictions. The scientists who study the atmosphere and weather are called meteorologists. Much of their work involves gathering data or information about the atmosphere and environment. They use thermometers, barometers, anemometers, and other basic equipment to provide some of this data. More advanced equipment such as radar and satellites can also provide useful data. In fact, I'd say a lot of it comes now more from the radar especially and satellites, but everything is used together. It's not just one is more important than the other. It depends on sort of the weather pattern that you're going through at the time. Radar can be very useful, especially when there's an active tornado. You can actually track it using that. And they also have Doppler radar is the #1 most popular. In fact, Doppler is your secret word for today. DOPPLAR. Throughout history, people have watched the skies for weather patterns. By studying these patterns, people hoped to predict the coming weather. Farmers and sailors who depended on the weather found many predictable patterns. One of these patterns is even mentioned in the Bible. Matthew 16:2-3 tells us that the ancient people had observed that the color of the sky could indicate the type of weather that was coming. Modern meteorologists work in a similar way. They daily gather weather data to find and study weather patterns. In this way, meteorologists can use present conditions to make fairly accurate predictions about future weather. All right, and so that is your video. And don't forget to do the worksheets. And we will have another quiz tomorrow, and so be ready for that. You have to have, I believe it says it's going to be work text pages 6970 and 7374, and that is not correct, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm absolutely positive that that is not correct because those are the wrong pages. So I'll get you those so that you have those later on. So the actual pages are 132 to 137. And the works text pages would be basically 89 and 90, what you have today. That will be for your quiz for tomorrow. All right, so make sure you get those done. If you don't get those done, you won't have it to use for tomorrow's quiz. All right, and I'll change that in the booklet, or you guys will need to change it in the booklet too. Of course, we do have that quiz on science. I guess actually we'll probably have the quiz, looks like, because we don't have science on, I'm looking at Wednesday. It looks like, yeah, so actually it says none on Friday, and so we'll probably take that quiz on Monday. All right, that's it. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Bye.